Data is data, and it's only accurate as far as you verify it.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Dustin Harris.
All right, folks, welcome to the Appraiser Coach Podcast. My name is Dustin Harris, or Dusty, if you're some people. I'll get into that in just a little bit. Folks, you just have to laugh at this stuff. If you don't, you're going to lose your hair. Oh, wait a second. I want to pause here and remind you that we're sponsored by two great companies, one of them being Alamode. Alamode is the leader, and there's a reason they are the leader in report writing software. Check them out, alamode.com, 800 Alamode. OREP Insurance. OREP is the E&O that I choose. I make a choice to be involved in that great company that watches out for appraisers. Check them out by going to their website, orep.org. Again, it is OREP.org. All right, folks. Sometimes I just ignore all of this stuff, really. And the reason I ignore it is because if I addressed every critic out there, I would never get anything done, quite frankly. But some things are too important to just ignore. And so I am going to do a podcast today addressing some of the myths about ChatGPT and why believing in those myths, and I'm going to stress that word a lot today, make it very scary for appraisers and make them fearful for their jobs. Hang tight. Let me set this up. Recently, I wrote an article for the Appraisal Buzz. And the name of the article was, "Did you know ChatGPT can help you with your appraisal reports?" Now, I want you to pay particular attention to that. Okay, what I did not say, what the title of the article was not, is "Did you know that ChatGPT can write your appraisal reports for you?" But you would think that that would be the title based on the comments. You would think that appraisers read the title, interpreted it in their mind as to what I thought I said, didn't read the article itself, or if they did, they skimmed it. And if they did skim it, they missed the really important things that I pointed out in the article that I'm going to talk about today. And they drew their own conclusions, and they went straight to, oh my gosh, Dustin Harris is teaching appraisers that they should have ChatGPT write their appraisal reports. Dustin Harris is promoting AI to take over the appraisal industry. Okay. And I know maybe I'm taking it too far, but I really don't think, and by the way, when I say the comments, not just the comments in the article itself, again, you can go to Appraisal Buzz and just type in, "Did you know?" In fact, just type in ChatGPT as one word. No space, and I'm guessing it will come up because there's not a ton of articles on this yet. It's fairly new technology. Did you know that ChatGPT can help you with your appraisal reports is the name. Scroll down to the comments, super fun. I know, never read the comments, right? And on several Facebook forums, on appraiser Facebook groups, individuals had posted this, and people are coming unglued. Okay, let me first of all give some credence to those who are skeptical. AI is scary. It's new. It has some potential for some real dangerous things, including taking over your job as appraisers. I'll freely admit that. Okay. Although I don't believe that, and I'll talk more about that in today's episode. Don't turn off the episode. If you get angry and leave halfway through this episode, you will not get to the good stuff, I promise. Okay. Elon Musk, who was an original contributor financially, at least, to OpenAI that created ChatGPT. By the way, ChatGPT is not the only AI language simulator out there. There is BART, which is Google's version. There are others as well. ChatGPT just happens to be the first one to really hit the marketplace back in late 2022. And it's the one that most people know about. And so that's the one that we're going to focus on. And frankly, it's the one that I've spent as much time as I have on, which does not make me an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but at least it's something that I can speak with authority on. I literally reminds me of Parks and Rec. Rob Lowe. I literally have spent probably 1 to 2 hours a day, that's without exaggeration, on average on ChatGPT. Sometimes I spend 3 or 4 hours on it. And I know some of you are saying, well, what in the world are you doing for 3 or 4 hours on ChatGPT? Folks, I'm telling you, it is a powerful tool to synthesize what I would call the information age into easy to get content. Okay. Now, does it come with a risk? Absolutely. Oh, I meant to tell you about Elon Musk. Elon Musk once tweeted, and I'm paraphrasing, but basically he said, I'm more afraid of AI than I am nuclear weapons. I'm more afraid of AI than I am nuclear weapons. Now, I think that that's a pretty powerful statement coming from a guy who's pretty connected to the world of technology, the guy that's coming up with Neuralink, if you know anything about that, right? So for somebody that's that connected to make that kind of comment, I understand why. And by the way, I did an episode earlier with the individual who had left Google, the BART project, if you will, to talk about AI, and also says some very scary things as well. This has potential that is probably beyond our ability to even understand. And so I'm all for creating barriers. I'm all for creating borders. I'm all for creating systems that can keep us in check, because AI is a scary thing. And honestly, when I first heard that, I thought, come on, you guys are stretching the truth. You're exaggerating. Does it really go that far? Yeah, when you start to look at AI and the things it can do, it's a bit scary, right? But one of the things that I want to address today is, what choices do we have? But I specifically want to address some of the myths, and I'm not going to call anybody out by name. Somebody called me out by name, called me Dusty, and I made a comment that only my mama calls me Dusty. But some people are very angry. Some people are very upset at this article. They're very upset at what Dustin Harris is quote unquote promoting out there. That he must not care about appraisers. He's a sellout. Don't listen to anything he says. He's all about technology taking over the world. And okay, if you listen to my podcast for any more than a couple of episodes or read my blogs for any more than a couple of pages, you'll know that, well, I am who I am, right? I'm not afraid to speak the truth. I speak what is out there. I'm not going to propagandize it, meaning I'm only going to say nice things about appraisers and never say anything that might cause uncomfort for appraisers. I'm going to speak the truth, folks. You know me as an individual who's going to tell it like it is. I'm going to look you in the eye, and I'm going, by the way, welcome if you're on YouTube. I'm looking you in the eye right now. If you've not signed up for our YouTube channel, please do. Subscribe, please. I'm going to look you in the eye, and I'm going to tell you the way it is. You can't be a good business owner if you don't have some level of information that's accurate. Okay. And so I'm going to give you the information. I'm not always right. I make mistakes. I try to apologize when I do. I try to backtrack or retract or stand up and admit when I make mistakes. I'm human. But I spend my life gathering as much information and synthesizing that information as possible so that you don't have to, right? Good business practices, how to read a P&L statement, how to promote your business, we did a webinar this morning in our All-Star team group on how to set up and manage a Facebook group for real estate professionals in your area so that you can build and network your private work, so that you can do less AMC work and more private work. Okay, so I'm constantly trying to promote this industry, but I'm also going to be very real with you. And today is one of those days that the data coming at you may be scary, may be new, may be intimidating, but I promise you, I'm going to do my bestest to give you the information as I see it. Okay, and I want to do this by sharing with you today 5 myths as it comes to ChatGPT, AI, machine learning, what have you. Okay, and I do believe that these are myths, and I will talk through each of those as we go through. And most of these come from the comments, either in the article that I wrote. Again, it was in the Appraisal Buzz recently. Did you know that ChatGPT can help? I want to emphasize that word, help, not write, help you with your appraisal reports. And so let's just dive into this. Let's go into, if we can, just myth number 1. Myth number 1, you are providing ChatGPT with data. Now, this is not this is not a myth completely. AI learning, the whole purpose of artificial intelligence and the whole definition of what it is, and machine learning, computer learning, is the fact that it is programmed to take in information, synthesize that information, and give it back to you in a format that would be easy to understand. That's the power of ChatGPT. I've used the example before of, if you go out and do a Google search, you've got to search through multiple web pages. You've got to go through advertisements. You've got to skim the article looking for the exact answer that you're looking for. And Google has made that easier. With their, when you do a search, sometimes they'll have the top questions right at the top, and you can just click and go directly to it in the article, but it's still very difficult to find. When it comes to ChatGPT will take a plethora of information and it will package it up in a nice little ball and give it to you with a bow on top and say, here's the information. Now, you've got to be a little bit careful with that. It's not always right. It's just, it sometimes can be garbage in, garbage out, which is one of the things I want to talk about today with one of the myths out there. But it's getting information wherever it can possibly get information. And one of those places is you. So it's not a myth when someone says you're just giving ChatGPT information. Be careful. You're just empowering it. First of all, I'm giving it no confidential data at all. If you look at the definition of what is confidential in an appraisal, there is not one place that I've put in quote unquote confidential data to ChatGPT. I would also go so far as to say some of the people in their comments quote my article as talking about some of the prompts. By the way, the article's purpose is to give you specific prompts that I have used that have helped me. Again, another key, helped me to create better appraisal reports, helped me to develop my opinions of value. And some of those have to do with, hey, here's, for example, I'm paraphrasing, but one of them's like, here's 15 sales in a neighborhood. What would be the best comps to choose? Now, everybody freaks out. Oh my gosh, you're allowing ChatGPT to choose your, no, I'm allowing ChatGPT to give me a suggestion, and then I might take that further and decide as the appraiser what I'm going to use and what I'm not going to use. But folks, this is one of the things that someone, well, that's confidential information. Is it really? To put in MLS data, or to put in county data, or to put in an address, for example. Are you telling me that stuff is not public as anything else these days? Of course, that's not true. That's not true. Okay. And wouldn't you, folks, in all seriousness, do you really think that Dustin Harris or any other appraiser that's using ChatGPT is really giving ChatGPT information it didn't have already? Now, I would never in a million years encourage you. In fact, I would strongly discourage you from putting any confidential information in any forum that's public, whether it be Facebook or Instagram or ChatGPT. Okay, the same rules apply with ChatGPT as any other social media platform. And so, are you when number one, you are providing it with data. I don't think I'm providing it with data that it doesn't already have, and I certainly would never put anything that is confidential in there. Okay. The next criticism that was very poignant in this article and online in the social media is that this is plagiarism. If you're allowing ChatGPT to write your appraisal reports, again, never said that. Don't even think that's possible at this point. I'm simply promoting it as a tool, right? But if you're using ChatGPT to quote unquote write your appraisal reports, that it is plagiarism, number one. And number two, you must disclose in your report where you got that information. Okay, folks, let's back up for just a second. Let's set the table. If you are saying that this is plagiarism or saying that you must disclose where you got this information, it is clear to me that you have no clue what AI is. You have no clue what ChatGPT is, okay? And again, I am not an expert. Some of the things I say are completely wrong, but on this, I know that I'm 100% right? First of all, what is plagiarism? This is 100% unique data that gets kicked back to you. How is that plagiarism? Look at the definition of plagiarism, okay? And then define for me if utilizing something that ChatGPT gave you is plagiarism. Number two, you must disclose where you got the data. Okay, folks, I am not in any way, and this goes back to, did you even read the article? I am in no way promoting that ChatGPT write your appraisal report. What I have said was it might help you to write your appraisal report better. What I'm saying, for example, you might put in a couple of items that you want in your report and say, write a paragraph that makes these 3 points, okay? It is no different than using Grammarly, if you're familiar with that, to help you with your grammar, your punctuation, the way that you say things. No different at all. It is a tool. You are 100%, and I'm going to stress this over and over in the episode today, you are 100% responsible for whatever you choose to put in your appraisal report. But is it plagiarism? How can it be plagiarism when it's 100% organic? Number two, do you need to disclose, according to USPAP, that you utilize ChatGPT? Well, did you disclose that you used the county data or the MLS? And some of you are saying, well, yeah, I do. Okay, great. That's fine. In no other way, this is no different than any of that. If you use Grammarly, if you write a paragraph and you stick it in Grammarly and say, hey, help me to reformat this, help me to clean this up, help me to make it better, are you really going to, in your appraisal report, write that I asked Grammarly? Grammarly was a significant contribution to my appraisal. Come on, really? If you do, far be it from me to dissuade you from doing so, but I don't think it's necessary, especially when you think about how I'm utilizing ChatGPT. Now, some of you I know are still on the other side of the fence. You're going, Dustin, if you stick data in there and it brings out a paragraph and you stick that in your report, then that's not written by you and thus you have to disclose. Folks, once again, and I'm going to emphasize this over and over and over again, you are 100% responsible to verify any information that you get from ChatGPT or Facebook or MLS or county records or the neighbor across the street or the homeowner as you're walking through the house. This is no different than any other, I'm getting excited already. This is no different than any other tool that you might use in the appraisal process. You're 100% responsible for whatever you choose to put in the report. Okay, I am in no way promoting that you plug in your appraisal report and say, write my appraisal for me. If I was, I should be taken to the woodshed. All right, number three, you don't know where that data came from, and you should reference it in your appraisal report. Again, this is a lot like the second part of number two, but it's a little bit different in the sense that when you use ChatGPT and you put data into, or you give it prompts, ask it questions, it will bring back information. And one thing that ChatGPT does not do that Google does is whenever you get information from Google, you have a website that you could reference. Okay, so let's get out of appraisal for a second. Let's just talk about, I don't know, an academic paper, right? If you're going to utilize a web page for an academic paper, then you're required to cite where that reference came from. One of the problems with ChatGPT is it takes a plethora of data, and we could talk about where it gets its data. It's a million different places, right? Wikipedia being one of them, Google sites, blogs, Reddit. There's a lot of different places, books, plethora of books, like tons of data that is fed into this. And it basically takes all of this data and it takes what you're asking or prompting it to do. And it does its best as a machine, as a computer, as not a human being. I want to emphasize that. Okay. You got to understand the tool that you're working with. And it puts it all together and it kicks you back an answer. There is every chance that answer can be wrong. Again, garbage in, garbage out. There's every reason to believe that you can't believe everything that you read on ChatGPT. And one of the other problems is it does not cite its sources because honestly, it doesn't really have a source. It has so many sources that it's impossible to cite them all. It takes millions of web pages, puts them together and figures out the answer and kicks it back to you. That answer can be wrong. Number one, beware. And number two, you have no reference from where that data came from, which goes to the myth. The myth is you don't know where the data came from and you should reference it in your appraisal reports. Okay, again, you are responsible to verify information that is given back to you. I'll give you an example. One of the prompts, not specifically, I'm paraphrasing, but one of the prompts that I gave in the article on the Appraisal Buzz, sorry, frog in my throat today, was about walkability. Okay, walkability score. If you're familiar with that, you should be. As an appraiser, you should understand walkability and how it relates to value. Okay, and so one of the things I did was I put in walkability, trying to get a better idea of the neighborhood, right? And let's say it comes back and it says you're within 2 miles of a grocery store and you're in a mile and a half of a post office, and there are 3 schools within a 7-minute walk, right? You could be a bad appraiser and simply grab that data and plug it, copy paste into your appraisal report and trust that it's just okay because, hey, it came from a reliable source, right? Or you can be a good appraiser and you can actually verify that information. Is there really a grocery store within 2 miles of the subject? Is there really a post office within a mile and a half? Is there really 3 schools within 7 minutes walking distance? Again, folks, data is data. And it's only accurate as far as you verify it. I would in no way, in no form, read my article in the Appraisal Buzz. I over and over and over again emphasize, right? These are simple examples to get you started along the path, to start to utilize a tool. It's only a tool. You are 100% responsible for your appraisal report. I'll tell you another thing you're 100% responsible for, and that is your business. What are you doing in your business to make sure that you are protected? I, folks, put an emphasis on my E&O, and I choose to make sure that I'm with the greatest E&O company out there, and it is called OREP, O-R-E-P. You can find out why it's the best by going to their website, checking out their benefits. Folks, including free continuing education, not just education, continuing education that counts in your state, free every single year. Check them out. Go to orep.org. Again, it's orep.org. A la mode, of course, is the software that you should use. It's the one I use, and there's a reason I keep using it. Folks, we have a choice, right? There's several companies out there that do report writing software for appraisers. By the way, if you don't think AI is going to be part of that in the future, you're kidding yourself, right? This is the future. But back up for just a second. Right now, the best appraisal report writing software that doesn't use AI, as far as I know, is a la mode. Check them out by going to alamode.com, or you can call them, pick up the phone and call them at 800 a la mode. All right, folks, welcome back to the program. Dustin Harris hanging out with you, addressing some of the critics out there, addressing some of the myths that came up when I wrote an article for the Appraisal Buzz. The article, if you would like to read it, and I would ask you to please read it. Don't just assume what it says and get on there and start, throwing out vitriol. Did you know that ChatGPT can help you with your appraisal reports? Can help with your appraisal reports. All right, we're going through the myths. Myth number 1, you're providing it data. Kind of true, but again, not confidential data. It probably has already. Anyway, number 2, it's plagiarism. Again, 100% unique information. I can't imagine why that's plagiarism. You're 100% responsible for what you put in the report. Number 3, you don't know where this data came from. That's kind of true. Okay, so be careful. Again, verify, verify, verify. If ChatGPT gives you information and you don't know the answer, you don't know that that's accurate information, verify it. Find out. Don't just trust it. I have seen it get it wrong over and over and over again. By the way, if you type in who is the appraiser coach on ChatGPT, somebody showed me this on the All-Star team the other day. I'm based out of Utah. So there you go. And I've written 3 books, by the way. So be careful, because none of that's true. You need to be very, very careful with the information that comes back. Make sure that you verify everything. All right. Myth number 4 out of 5, right? If we all refuse, all meaning appraisers, if we all refuse to use it, it will go away. Okay, folks, this is a thing that comes up often, right? The whole boycott principle. If we all refuse to do desktops, desktops will go away. If we all refuse to do drive-bys, drive-bys will go away. If we all refuse to fill in the blank, it will go away. And I see this over and over again. We as appraisers need to stand up against the man. We need to stand up against the machine. If we refuse to use OpenAI, ChatGPT, BART, whatever it is, if you refuse to use it, it will go away. Folks, I'm sorry. That bell can't be unrung. That toothpaste can't be put back in the tube. Whatever metaphor you want to use, this is the future. All we can hope to do at this point is to somewhat control it so it doesn't take over the world and we end up with iRobots running around trying to kill people. The idea that you can refuse to use AI, go for it, right? It would be no different than you in the year 1998 saying, I absolutely refuse to use the internet. It's dangerous. There's pornography on there. There's how to make bombs on there. There's this future thing called Facebook that's going to, make people hate each other. I refuse to use it. Okay, sure. You can absolutely do that. Or you can see it for what it is, understand it for what it is, and make a decision as to what you want to do. Folks, putting your head in the sand does not make AI go away. Right? I would say this phrase. Okay. Now pay attention to, there's 3 words here, not just the first one, not just the small word that ties the 2 together, but I want to emphasize the last word. And that is, the phrase is this: embrace with caution. Okay. Emphasizing the caution. Okay. The tool is out there. It's like any other tool, folks. It's the same argument, honestly, that I heard back in 1999 about laser measuring devices. Yes, I heard appraisers say, if that wall's 24 feet, how do you trust a laser? You got to pull a tape to make sure that it's 24 feet. That's the only way to do that. Okay. I'm sorry, folks. I've used laser measuring devices long enough to know that it's more accurate than I could ever be. Okay. Trust but verify. Again, every bit of information that goes in your appraisal reports, I can't stress this enough, is 100% you. Okay, no one here is asking you to have ChatGPT do your appraisal reports. Most of the comments were centered around that myth, right? Dustin is promoting that ChatGPT write your appraisal reports. Okay, folks, it is a screwdriver. It is a wrench. It is a hammer. Okay, some people would say it's definitely a hammer. Right? It is a tool. And as such, you choose to use it or not. But when you choose it with caution. Okay, a better analogy actually is a sponsor of my program, Synapse. Okay, let's talk about Synapse for a second. Again, this is not promotion for Synapse. This is just a great example of what I'm talking about. A good analogy to ChatGPT. If you've ever used Synapse, you will know that it helps you to come up with a pretty defensive adjustment for gross living area. Okay, and it comes about it in different ways. There's like 6 different approaches it takes. In the end, you are and must still be in charge of whatever data goes into your appraisal report. So let's say that Synapse comes back and I'm just going to simplify it. It's much more complicated than this, but let's say Synapse comes back and says that you should have a GLA adjustment somewhere between $47 and $82. Okay, it's a pretty big range, right? And then another aspect that Synapse comes back with is maybe it says, well, it should be $67. And another one says, no, it should be 63, right? In the end, ultimately, you as the professional, you as the valuation professional must make the decision as to what you are going to utilize in that report. And there's a lot that can go into that. There's a lot of data that you need to sift through. There's a lot of expertise that you need to know about the local market, right? Is $67 a square foot reasonable? in this market for this type of house. That's up to you, the expert. Folks, ChatGPT is no different in this sense than Synapse or Total or a calculator. Okay. I've got a calculator right here on my desk. Here it is. Folks, can you trust if I put in here 2 times 5 equals 10? Now, I know that 2 times 5 equals 10. I know I'm smart. But if I didn't know that, I would be responsible if I put that in my appraisal report and did not verify that information. Now, I'm using a very simple thing and everybody's rolling their eyes. Of course, 2 times 5, but you can't try. It's different with ChatGPT. No, folks, the information that you get back from ChatGPT is 100% up to you, whether you use it, how you use it, or if you choose not to use it at all. That's your decision. Last and final myth. I mean, there's plenty of them out there, but the last one we're going to do today. AI will take over your job as an appraiser. All right. This might surprise you. I'm not going to disagree with that, but I am going to caveat it. Okay. I do not, in my heart of hearts, believe that AI is going to take over your job as a real estate appraiser if, this is a big if you will create a way for you to still bring value to the valuation industry. Now, when I say bring value, I'm not talking about appraised value. I'm talking about the value that you give to others, the help, the assistance, the service that you can provide to other people, i.e. your clients. If you, even with AI, even with ChatGPT, even with the amazing, and by the way, ChatGPT is evolving at an alarming, and I use that word purposely, an alarming rate, right? It is crazy what ChatGPT can do now versus what it could do just back in December. It is evolving quickly. Yes, I'm a fan of putting controls on it, being careful with it, okay? And back to the myth, it will take over your job. If you, and by the way, this goes to the article that I wrote, right? If you read the article that I wrote for the Appraisal Buzz, you'll know that I simply promote it as a tool that can be helpful to you in you and your appraisal reports. I in no way encourage you to utilize ChatGPT, nor could you to write your appraisal reports. At this point, you could not do it, even if you wanted to, okay? But my point is this, with myth number 5, and what I'm about to share with you, the whole article is the exact opposite, the 180-degree difference than what I'm being accused of. Because what I'm saying to you is the technology is out there. It is an amazing tool. I stress that word tool. Use it with caution, or choose not to use it at all. That's at your peril, right? If you are one, first of all, that's going to choose to use ChatGPT exclusively for your appraisal reports, I guarantee your job is not going to last. If you choose to not use ChatGPT at all or something similar, I guarantee in the future, it seems a little premature to say this, but I guarantee in the future, you will also lose your job. What we as appraisers need to do, okay, is to make ourselves relevant by becoming the local expert. That's what we need to do. That way, our clients, our customers, will not be going to ChatGPT or Zillow or anything you want to plug in there that's machine-based to find out what the value of their home is. We all know what happened to Zillow. We all joke that the A in Zillow stands for accuracy. We all know the story. We all know that it's getting better, but it's still pretty poor. And we as appraisers still have a job, right? Because it is poor. What happens when it gets really, really good? Whether it be ChatGPT or Zillow or whatever third-party thing might come along and plug into the information age. What happens when it's pretty darn good at guessing, and I'm going to use that word purposely, guessing the value of someone's home, that it's pretty darn accurate? Well, at that point, folks, you better have a way to recreate or revalue what you do to others. Find an opportunity to make yourself relevant as the local expert, and I guarantee that you will have a job moving forward. Folks, there is no one more irrelevant than the appraiser-saurus who won't embrace change. Thank you for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. And by the way, we are going to Hawaii. I know I've said that here on this program before. Mastermind members, if you are a mastermind member, in January. 8th, 9th, and 10th, we will be in Kauai. Cannot wait. I invite any of you who are on the fence, would like to join the mastermind, and would love to join us at the Mastermind in Paradise in beautiful Kauai, Hawaii in January. We would love to have you. Thank you, folks, for joining me, and go create some value.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.